and I'm Hans.
I'm Daniel.
And today we're going to take you through the process of creating our track Mating Call, which we released this year on our own label Outplay. And yeah, I'm really psyched. We're really psyched to show you guys how we do, because we've been getting a lot of questions from your fans about how we make our tracks. So
let's dive into it.
Yeah, it started out as an edit at first. We had this idea, but it ended up being a lot more. So it became an original. So yeah,
let's first just have a listen to the original sample, which is like an Afro-ish track. And so yeah, in the beginning it was just adding beats and stuff like that, and having the idea to just make it an edit for playing out live. Yeah. But soon after we added a lot of other elements. You added the bass line, and we had the idea just to make it into an original. So yeah.
So this is
what we did.
Let's just play the.
Yeah, what maybe is nice just to see what's left of the sample that we just heard, because we ended up just using the organ part of the sample. Put it on track soon there. And it's heavily filtered. Like usually it's like this, and we just wanted to have like the mid part of the sound, so we could add a lot of other instruments on top of it, and it didn't clutter with the rest. And there's a sound shifter on it. I think it's just because we were playing in a different key, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's we detuned it a bit, I see. It's just been a bit off. So you see when you sample from records, sometimes they are just a little bit off.
Yeah, so you need to get them in tune, and it's the best plugin for this. We use it a lot.
So yeah, the whole track, maybe it's a good idea just to play it a bit. Yeah, from here. You can hear it's the bass line is a big part of the track, so maybe just jump into the bass line, because
I think that's the main part, the hook of our track.
We didn't have this bass line in the beginning. It started just out with
the organ, and then we added some percussion and kick drum and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wanted to go just to the first idea of the bass line we had, and we still kept it in the song, but it's ended up like the B part of the bass line of the track.
We'd like to work, when we're arranging something, a track, we like to work with different parts of a track, where you have one main hook, and then you switch it to make the story the story good, a good story for the track. And so we end up, yeah.
This was the original bass line.
I recorded.
Played with our sub-fatty.
Yeah.
But we didn't feel like this was going to be like the main bass line for the whole track.
You couldn't carry it the whole.
So we worked on a different bass line, and it's a combination of 3 layers. Still, there's a Moog bass in it. We use a lot of Moog bass. And I started playing just this line. and we wanted to have a bit more like a guitar, bass guitar feel.
Because of the whole, we were still into that whole Afro live feel. What we usually do is make synthesizers or instruments we use sound organic. That's at least we aspire to try to, and make it as much as a bit like a live band. And so we used a top bass for just to broaden the sound a bit.
Yeah, we didn't have a bass guitar. Well, I'm not like a really good bass guitar player, so we used just a sample package from Scarby, and
it's part of the Native Instruments package.
To give it that guitar feel. There's quite some processing on this, using pedals inside of Logic to give us some
Logic has some
funk.
Great plugins, guitar pedals.
Scooping off the lows, even more highs with an exciter, putting it through a compressor, the UAD, and some delay. In this case, it's like a slap delay, tape delay-ish.
It's Echo Boy Junior. So from Soundtouch plugins, we use those plugins a lot. Great plugins, great package. Yeah, so that kind of makes the sound a lot more alive. Let's remove we can hear.
So we just go to top bass.
Yeah, the top bass. You hear it without any effects on it. That's the dry sound of this. Pretty straightforward.
I think like a real bass player can hear that's not really like a real bass player.
Yeah, so that's okay. So you wanted to put it into a lot more, give it context as well on its own. So we added some guitar pedals, which you saw.
There's a lot more presence. It has a bit of room because of the delay. It doesn't have any lows because we have lows from the Moog bass. And from another bass, we wanted to give it a bit more body. And recently we bought this fantastic package, the Keyscape. I'll just close down these. From Spectrasonics, lovely plugin with Rhodes and piano, but also with Rhodes bass. And so this one is like a really low Rhodes bass line. Also, we took off the lows because all the lows are in the Moog and we don't want to get them all cluttered. And some other nice feature of this one is a bit detuned. And we wanted to...
One of the features of a lot of those Afro tracks feature a lot of slightly detuned instruments. And to kind of emulate that, we also, the top bass is detuned as well, about 20 cents. And the Keyscape bass on top of that is a little bit detuned as well. And when you combine it together, also with maybe just play the gives a kind of flowy feel.
It's singing a bit.
Yeah, but it really brings it alive.
And then together.
Yeah, brings it alive.
The top bass line also goes to an aux channel with a spring verb. We use spring verbs quite a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a sound effect, yeah.
Gives this vintage echoey feel to it. It's just the top bass, only the top frequencies of the bass line. And then all the bass layers go to one aux channel, and we put some warm tape distortion on it just to glue it all together.
This Fouk Filter Saturn, which is a
great plugin.
Great plugin, just to make it more compact, the bass line, make it feel like it's all one big instrument.
Yeah, and we love harmonic distortion.
So yeah, and it suits the guitar sound as well. So how this bass line came to be. We're just jamming. We had the part with that. Maybe we can play like without the bass line. Just mute the bass line. Yeah, and we had this part. Yeah, it's nice. It's kind of, and we were trying to find. We're missing a hook in this track, and I think I remember I started to hum something, and because I was humming a certain type of bass line, he played something, and I think it's the first thing we just immediately captured that, and that's, I think, essentially is the melody of the bass line that you hear right now. So it can go really quickly if you just leave the track be a little bit and just listen to it, and then this came and it ended up bringing the track to life. So we're quite kind of happy with how it turned out.
Let's dive into the drum part.
Yeah, you can hear lots of percussion as well, which we'll get into. We record a lot of our own stuff, but the main thing is what we always start out is finding the right kick to complement the feel of the track. Some tracks you need like a lot more like punchy kick, and in this case we wanted to add to the whole live feel, so it sounds more like a proper kick drum, like a real kick drum, And I think it was like a package, like a new sample package we rediscovered, I think. I think so. Yeah, and just by its own, it's just play the drums. Yeah, I'll just take off these plugins. Yeah, alright. It sounds really like a kick drum from a drum kit. From the drum kits. And we wanted to give a bit more beef to it. So here's one of our favorite plugins, little radiator. Also from side, as you can see. Yeah, on and off, you can hear it. It's a bit more distortion, a bit more beef. And then we thought, well, maybe it's a bit too much in the lows, just sculpting a bit. And we thought it was a bit like the sustain was a bit too long. So we have this transient master, and you can just easily take off a bit of the tail of the kick. So so that's. So it's a little bit shorter the kick if you turn it off the. Well, with the EQ. A lot longer tail end, because we have a lot of bass because of the bass line, and you want to have room to have the bass line breathe. And the kick has in the low end has a long tail, so if you cut that short, then it's a lot more. Yeah, so when we were like in a later stage with the track, and we had everything together, we thought this kick could have a bit more punch, a bit more like top kick, especially when I was mixing. And so we put a 707 kick on top of it, just take off the lows, also add a little radiator, of course. And these two together, get this tick, on top of it. Which really sounds, it sounds a bit like, so on its own it sounds a bit like it's still a bit too much, but I'll show you in the mix. If we just have the original kick and mute this one. And now we have the 707. Punches through more, So without. So it's nice to have a really a kick that's really deep in the mix, but on different kinds of systems, sound systems, it tends to, you know, not be noticeable as much as you'd like to, and so this extra punch makes it feel much more balanced.
Yeah, and also on smaller systems,
yeah,
you can hear it better.
systems, yeah.
We also used a sidechain with the original kick, like in the top here.
The deep one, yeah.
Yeah, just to give like some room when the bass is playing. I don't think we put it on everything. It's just like on the bass line.
Usually we put it on the bass line, the basics of using the sidechain. Some instruments, but
yeah, we just make one aux channel with an compressor on top of it,
bus,
and then just route everything we like to go to the sidechain. But you can see here we every now and then we turn it off because in the breaks we don't want to hear that pumping sidechaining sound.
Yeah, if you hear it. So it has a lot more room. If you there's no kick to if you add, some people do. It kind of depends on what sound you're going for. But if you end up using sidechain here, so you hear the pumping sound and it kind of feels mechanical. So so you turn it off in the quiet bits.
But it depends on the song, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, other stuff from the drums. There's
a hi-hat sample.
Yeah.
We use. Yeah.
We tend to combine like electronic drums with sampled drums, like in this case hi-hats, because it gives this vintage feel. Sometimes from a disco track, it sounds like real drum hats.
Just a simple
loop.
Simple loop that we use.
And we combine it with our TR-09 recording.
So a basic pattern from the TR-09, record that and combine it together with. That's the way we built up the basis of the track. Yeah. Pretty simple, pretty safe.
Yeah,
yeah, and then we have the finger snaps. We tend to use a lot of like snaps, claps. Sometimes we record them ourselves as well. And then this is good plugin from Logic itself, which is called Drummer. It's just like
yeah, double click. Yeah.
And like the Latin feel.
It's just an easy way to get quick results.
It's like Easy Drummer or
something like that. Like this Latin percussion package.
Because it's kind of like the stock plugin. We want to make it don't want to make it the centerpiece of the whole production, but it can fill up. It can work really quickly. You can fill up the whole percussion side of things really well.
Just show a bit of what we did on the channel.
Yeah. All right. So you have that Latin percussion.
We purposely put a bit crusher on top of it.
Yeah.
If
you can hear, this is the
dry.
The dry. It's pretty dry, straightforward. Some shaping, a paddle board as well.
I think it's not turned on.
It wasn't?
No.
It was just kind of makes it a lot more gritty. This is I think we used this is a really good plugin called SDRR. It's version number 2. It's from Kleinhelm. You should get it, guys. It's a great plugin to if you like harmonic distortion or some bit crusher. And it's only 25 euros, I think.
Yeah, it's really cheap.
We end up using it in a lot of our tracks in the mix. So yeah, definitely a recommendation.
Yeah, we used the bit crusher because it changes the dynamics of the percussion a bit, and we had in mind to add a lot of percussion ourselves. We will show in a minute, and it gives a bit more room. It gives a bit of an edge to this like this basic Logic Latin percussion.
Yeah. Right.
Just one thing I wanted to tell is I think I did some site processing. You see, like only the highs from the sides in the stereo field, because I think at the time I thought it was a bit too wide.
Too wide.
Yeah. And some from the lows. Well. Yeah. Maybe I think it's because of the SDR. It can generate a couple of low frequencies you don't want. In the sides?
Especially with the Santos plugins or the SDR, it can make some, especially in the low, and make it a little bit too wide in the stereo field as well, which you don't want in the low end. Especially if you are releasing on trying to release it on vinyl as well. Those frequencies you don't want.
Yeah. So the rest of the percussion, we have a couple of instruments that I think we just bought them at the time that we made the track, right? Like this fake.
Yeah, it was this music store was pretty close to the place where we recorded everything. So
we always wanted to have a cowbell, like a proper cowbell.
Kind of reminds me always like that SNL sketch. Add more cowbell. We love love using cowbell, but yeah. It's easy to go overboard, so we always need to restrain ourselves a little bit. But it really added something to this one. There's a let's start off with a cowbell. See.
This one, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's that one.
There is a cowbell in the Latin percussion already, but together it can. This is like the. And then we added. It's a different one. Yeah.
That is a thumb piano. Yeah. There we go. Is it like the two cowbells are answering each other, you know, like you want some interplay. So yeah, we called it to bring it a little bit more to life. We had the shaker. What you can hear over here is like.
And there's one funny accident at the end. That's funny.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a tape delay on top of that to fill it out a little bit more in the stereo field. But yeah, there's this funny thing when you record live.
That's Hans.
That was me. I was just, we were feeling very pleased with the recording sound. Nice.
I think it was just you like ending the recording.
Yeah.
And that clap that you hear at the end, we use it on a different layer in the track.
This is in the track. Kind of, which you hear a lot in all these vintage tracks from the 70s as well. You hear a lot of the backtrack of the musicians playing and having fun, and kind of gives that funk feeling, and which is just a spontaneous thing, which is great to just use. And that clap, we end up using that one as well. It's this clap, just. Like
with a nice slap back up to the Echo Boy.
Yeah, it's just nice. It's another element to use in
the arrangement.
So yeah, the djembe, we recorded a djembe, which is
this little one, and that's a funny story because. I got it from a friend of mine. He went on vacation. I think he bought it in France, not even like in an exotic country or something. But I just had it in my studio and never really used it. But then just for these tracks, we recorded it, and it has this ring, like
it's a really cheap
old socks.
Yeah.
And to just damp it a bit, I just put some socks into it, and then you can. You still have this ring, and it's sounding a bit small.
Yeah, you for the to use it in this track, we really wanted to have the slaps, you know, that kind of you can hear that really well in the mix, and the bottom end doesn't need to be theirs. So
yeah, we use a lot of EQing to shape it, to get that ringing out of it.
yeah,
Maybe just turn off the plugins and the bus routing. So this is the dry recording. You hear this ringing. And that's the first EQ we used.
This one.
Yeah. The first shape
tightens it up a lot.
Yeah, no lows, especially the second EQ.
But yeah, you still hear that ring from the. So this is frequency. So that.
Now it sounds a lot more drier as well.
We didn't want that frequency. It's really annoying in the recording. So yeah, what you do is just in the EQ, this frequency, you start to find which you can really you're like. All right, it's around 430 hertz, and you just 430. Let's put it back where it was, and then just cut it from the mix, and voila. You have a nice and tight sounding djembe. We want to give it a little bit more of a. It sounds really dry right now, so you want to give it a little more like it's recording in a session room.
Just do the Saturn first.
Yeah. All right.
Because we use this warm tape Saturn plugin a lot because there's a lot of peaks in the djembe recording. And it's still sounding, yeah, and these ticks and clicks, they sound a bit thin. And if you use this plugin, it rounds it off really well.
It really it fills it out and just makes it a little bit louder. It's like putting it through an amp or something.
So it's without. It's a bit compressed.
Yeah.
And then this plugin generates a lot of lows again. So after that, we use another EQ just to kill the lows and a bit of more shaping here.
So that's how you make a pretty crappy djembe sound.
And then of course now it's dry sounding, so we have a couple of auxes on it. I think you just used the bottom ones. Like this one is going to an Echo Junior, Sound Toys again, of course, and this one is going to a little plate, also from Sound Toys.
Yeah, it's a plate verb.
Plate verb, really nice reverb, just simple one knob reverb. So it's like dry.
Yeah. 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 So if you hear it in context, it kind of really meshes. It's always a bit loud, but yeah, kind of feels part of the whole. So yeah, that's one of the percussion.
We have one percussion element.
Yeah, which is really cool. Daniel bought it in Bali. He went to Bali and bought this thumb piano. Okay.
It's not always usable because it's a bit off key.
It's off key and it's really limited in its range, but
so nice sounding.
Yeah.
So yeah, we recorded it.
I think I was playing around with it and we ended up recording that, and this is.
Just do without the plugins, really. Also with this instrument, there's a lot of ringing. Especially long.
From the
yeah, that's
call
like
it the instrument itself.
Yeah.
That kind of. But yeah, it kind of feels with the whole ethnic sounding Afro-ish feel. It's good. We wanted to use it. So at first you do a lot of EQing again. You see this really sharp cut because of that
The resonance.
The resonance of the shave off a little bit of the low end. Want to give it a little bit more body in the 1K, 2K area. Pretty simple as far as that goes.
And then a slap.
And then a slap delay to give it a... Makes it really, really wide. Because there are a lot of instruments that are in the mix that are pretty much in the mid of the stereo mix. So it kind of makes it sit, and you want to fill it out like the whole stereo fill. You want to fill it out and give everything a place. And you want to make, yeah, it's like a proper session band playing percussion. So we've had it. We've been talking about the bass line and the percussion and the drum track. There's a lot of melodic parts in this track as well, which we wanted to show you.
And that's the B part of the track.
Yeah, we have to you have to build up to the A part of the track and like the main hook, and then you want to switch it around to make it more interesting. So we love to use Rhodes keys. We don't have an actual Rhodes, so
unfortunately
we use pretty simple ones. Let me put on the track. We sat there and just Dino started playing around, so this break came on. And,
it's really simple, but it works. So
yeah.
Can you just solo the Rhodes for a minute?
Yeah, we'll do.
And take off the plugins.
Yeah, let me just
do the dry.
Yeah, well, this is the way it sounds in the finish. So we used some compression effect track, and this is the dry sounding.
It's got a bit hot, right? Oh, that's just what we did, I think.
This is the Scarby Mark 1 Rhodes. It's part of the whole Native Instrument Complete collection, which isn't a really fancy sounding Rhodes. It's really basic, straightforward. So we also have Keyscape from Spectrasonics, which is a much more fleshed out plugin. It sounds really good, really detailed, but we tried to use that and it didn't feel right, like it was part of the track.
It sounded so good.
It sounds, yeah. So the more crappy sounding one was a lot better for the mix and for the whole part of the track.
Yeah, we gave it some movement with the effect racks. Just
the Echo Boy, was it on? No, it wasn't on, right? Yeah. So this is a fact track also from Santos. It's like a rack where you can put all the individual plugins from Santos, so you can get this kind of combination of the effects. What it did was, we put just a compressor in front of it.
Yeah, to give it a bit more sustain.
Yeah. So the thing is, we want to bring it to live, so you're gonna feel this kind of wobbly, kind of singing. If you take it off, it's not dry. brings it more to life.
We tend to do that quite a lot. Like also on synth lines, doing this wobbly phase shifting on it, or
I like, think it's just we don't like dry synth sounds.
Yeah,
like just like a
maybe every now and then with a lead, but most of it is really lively. Yeah.
So some EQing as well. It's just shaving off the low end because this.
Yeah. The other one was turned off, by the way. The lower one.
Oh, that the Pro Q was turned off. All right,
and give a bit some extra.
Yeah, the same sound effects we've been using. This is spring verb, also part of that Logic pedal boards. This is just with there's a spring verb. So you hear that a lot in the era we've been inspired. That inspired us. It's the '70s, so lots of spring verbs have been used for the on top of the Rhodes and different kinds of instruments, and it really gives us the sound that we want. So this is the all right. You have the main Rhodes part, the chords that bring it give some really nice vibes to the track. And then we switch on to the. We wanted to add a solo. Give it a more melancholic feel, and this is where Daniel really shines because he's the better keyboard player. The purpose of this track is we wanted to bring it to life and make it feel like a live band. So what it needs is live instrumentation, and this is our way of approaching that. That's we've recorded a lot of the solos first, and so trying to get it just right. From
that on we go back to the main part.
We
can show the leads.
We have multiple lead sounds. We have the Moog Safari, which is here. It's great for bass sounds, but it's also great for really this piercing lead sounds or like effects. And I think what we used here was
just really simple, one note.
It's just one note. It's for the transitions of the track. You go from one part to another part, and just simple notes.
We tend to do that quite a lot, like using simple leads to connect parts together.
You want the different parts. You can just do straight cuts to different parts, but it will sound like you just jump into the next part. But you want to connect them together, and you can use effects for that. You can use those kinds of things to just mesh it all mesh it all together. And so for that we recorded some effects as well.
We'll do that later on. It's maybe better.
Let's do that.
Let's go for the leads in the second part.
All right. But
we have the ones together. Those two, like the Moog and the organ, or the JP 8000.
Yeah. So this is.
This is after the B part. We go back to the main part of the track. We introduced the bass line again, but this time we wanted to have an extra element to make it more interesting. And
the lead part that's coming in, kind of like a counter melody.
I'll play it here.
Yeah, let me just. So this is a combination of two synthesizers, which is the JP8000. Daniel's had that synth for. So how long do you have that synth?
Too long.
Too long.
It's already my second version, I think.
Yeah, like
but
maybe
still,
10 years or something, longer even.
Yeah.
It's really can sound really fast. It's a digital synth. It's not like everybody's harping on analog synth. But this is so versatile. We started using it again, and we've been using it a lot on different kinds of sounds. You can make really squelchy bass lines. You can make some great leads, which you're hearing here. So we have this
and even organ sounds.
Yeah. So you have this part. It's the JP coming in, but we want to flesh it out a little bit more. So we use the Daniel's Slim Fatty.
Slim Fatty from Moog.
From the Moog. Playing you double it, so you play the same line.
Yeah, put them together.
Yeah.
It's a lot of movement. And I think even like this Slim Fatty, it tends to get a bit detuned. So in the beginning when you turn it on, it's still cold, and I think it takes like half an hour for it.
That's an analog machine, yeah.
Yeah. But it's fine, because when it's a bit off tune, it can just sing,
drift a little bit.
Yeah, with the rest of the lead, the other lead from the JP.
So now you get this. It's a little bit like the same effect that we put on the Rhodes,
yeah.
To give it a little bit like it sings in a little bit like movement. So it all adds to the more euphoric feel that we wanted to give with this add-on and make it more hands in the air festival track.
So yeah, there's one element in the main part that we wanted to add just to make a connection with the B part of the track, and it's just simple the chords of the Rhodes, but then played with my JP8000, and it has this moody organ sound. It's really simple. Yeah, I just play it all together.
Yeah, I'll play that part.
It's coming up. It's a bit subtle, but just tell about the sample.
Oh yeah, but so that we tend to use lots of layering and doubling instruments is a really good way to flesh out your mix and sound the melodic parts kind of like a big.
I mean, like the sample in the end. Like,
you heard this really cool chord progression. So we sample as well. So we were listening to this. It was kind of like a gypsy jazz track from the 70s, I think.
Yeah.
There was it started with these falling sounding like it's
progression.
We didn't even
proper fade out.
It was like a click in the end, but still, that's another Rhodes, which is sometimes it's difficult if you use a sampled Rhodes together with one you've done yourself. But in this particular incident, it sounded all right. In the mix, let's just put the Rhodes. Let's see. different kind of filter, but
yeah, it's in the same key, kind of.
Key, yeah.
But it's drifting off a bit, and it works.
Yeah,
it just
put it all together.
Yeah.
It's kind of also a transitionary element. So, but yeah, you can use it at the end of the part. At the end of that part, you can put something like that to introduce. Okay, something's happening, so it's going to change, going to flip a little bit, or just move on to the break that you hear.
There's also in this part, I think it's also in the beginning of the track, but there's like a drone type of sample that we use, and it's from the same tracks that we use the Rhodes from. I think it's quite soft in that part. Yeah.
So we use Contact for those samples, and it's just this part you see here.
And just repeat it.
Just repeat it.
It's like a drone.
It's like a drone. Here's some there's camel fat on top of that, which has some distortion, like bit crusher, has a tube button knob we can turn it a little bit into. This is a filter, which is also just like a EQ. Some filtering on top of that, and I have this kind of sound. And
I think you don't hear it that well. I think in the beginning you can.
Beginning, you start out with it, yeah. You can hear it over here. So it's fading in. Especially those notes. It's nice to give a certain, like an atmosphere to the track.
It's subtle, but it adds to all the other elements in there.
Right. We're gonna go. Yeah, this is the part that we go to. It's a bit like a break where we take it onto the beat part. You can hear a different type of bass. It's not like that bass line kind of thing, just the Moog. But with the same Rhodes chords.
Oh yeah.
This part, just introduce something a little bit.
I think it's the same with if you just zoom out a bit. Because we have this main part, B part, main part, B part, and every time we try to make that part more interesting. So this part with the Rhodes, we had it before, but now we add another lead sound and
in a slightly different context.
Yeah.
So this is the second bass. It's the Moog.
It's the same as before.
We already showed it, right? Yeah.
Now the ARP lead I was talking about.
Right.
Can you just do this one?
You can play it.
Because we use this remake of the ARP Odyssey. Yes. Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's really like it cuts through the mix really well.
Just put it on dry. You can hear the.
Yeah.
It's like pretty basic, like dry, whistly.
Yeah.
Kind of feel.
We did use an Echo Boy on it just to.
We didn't use any. There's an EQ, but it's doing nothing. An Echo Boy is just like a slap.
But it's just a mono delay. So we purposely put it just in the center of the mix because there's a lot more happening on the sides as well.
So if you put it in context, you can hear it. like a combination of a lead and an effect as well, because it makes it
and
a bit spacey.
Yeah, and this part is also the Rhodes we doubled with a Solina.
Yeah, it's
so from Arturia.
It's from Arturia, right?
Yeah. It's just the same chords. And this instrument has this like movement in it. It's like it's really moving around.
So yeah, you can hear the. So we put some EQing, of course. Let me put it just a dry sound.
I don't think we did much to it.
No, I think there's a little bit of EQing and the waves imager to make it a little bit more
wider. Yeah.
Simple. But together with the Rhodes, it kind of.
Here we go back to the main part.
This is yeah, you become the bass player.
Yeah.
It comes the front. It comes to the front as well. Again.
It would be a good one if you do a live set. Just to,
yeah.
To get a good bass player to the part.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I think we just only have the effects elements left. Yeah, maybe just play them first.
Zoom out. Yeah, they're
when we made this track, we next to all the percussion that we bought, we also bought this Strymon pedal tape delay.
Yeah. Which is a guitar effect, but you can use it on synth really easy. It's great to give it more. You have something a knob to twist, you know, like a hands-on feel instead of all the plugins where you click around.
And it adds to the spacey kind of feel.
So right from the start of the track, you introduce, like you hear that, the loop, like this is the JP as well, which we ran through that one.
So it's this little fella.
That chair out of the way. So did you get that? Alright.
Let me just stop it here.
Yeah.
So this is just a dry sound. Put some delays on it. And go crazy.
Which is really fun to use. If we've done some DJ sets with live keys just as a precursor to doing a live set, and you bring this with you, you can do lots of nice little effects. It's so hands-on. So, but yeah, in the studio it works really great. Just wonky, spacey feel. Yeah, nice. So yeah, that's what
I think we recorded a couple of those.
Yeah, a couple of those, like this one.
And also one, I think it's later on in the B part.
Yeah.
Like over here, I think. Is it
kind of the same? I think.
And the bottom one.
The bottom one, right? Isn't that the arpeggio?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is. I think this is JP as well. I'll show. It's just a really quick arpeggio thing. Let me see.
Can you find it?
Yeah. And then without the delay. And with it. Something like that.
Yeah, it's a dreamy add-on to all the. Just really gives it like a nice. It's a little bit of clipping or something. Is a hole. Is part of a hole. Yeah, it's we didn't do a lot of processing afterwards because there's already a lot of effects on that. Just some EQ and just shave off the bottom end as well. I think that one's still going.
Yeah.
Kind of like this. Who should record that? It's like a sci-fi. Yeah.
I think there's just one thing that we forgot to mention is this China.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's from the Addicted Drums. Really nice package for live drums, and in this case we just used the China cymbal.
Yeah, two cymbal types, I think.
That's quite soft, but let's do it again. And it adds to the moment the beat kicks in. Let's do it here. It's one subtle thing, but
yeah, it's just a standard way to just emphasize the beat. The way a drummer would do things well. They want to use it that way.
And in this last part of the track, everything comes together. So it's like the lead from the arp, the chords from the Moody organ from the JP8000. You can hear Hans's woo! Feel that we always like the parts of the tracks where there's like at the end of the track where you like come down, build the track more, so more quiet. You have a lot more space for some elements to shine. I don't know. You kind of always think it's a nice part. You know, you've been on this journey and you're kind of still vibing on that whole bit, and we just ease on into the next one. Just end with the drone.
Yeah, and with the same drum that we started with. And yeah, you can. That's when you arrange something. That's where the way we usually like to do it is make connections through different parts of tracks. And sometimes you can start off with one instrument or one bit and just not use it in the rest of the track, and then introduce it again in the latter part of the track because you're like, oh, I forgot about that one. It's nice. Ah, it's back again, and kind of. You want. I think that the key to this is always you want to, surprise people. Just like keep things interesting, and you have to introduce something. Oh yeah, or they maybe forgot to introduce something new, and which can also be a downfall if you start to do too much. To switch too many switches, which was one of our things that pitfalls that we got some feedback on, especially when working with guys from House Recordings when we released our Kill Friends EP. The guys were like, yeah, you're using that kind of hi-hat, and then you introduce a different kind of hi-hat as well, and add some cymbals to it, and it kind of feels like if you switch too much, it's a little bit like a jumbled whole, and less is more, so we learn to edit ourselves as well. But yeah, it's nice we like to make a story, and but you can also you have different producers who do it like it's pretty straightforward and some simple switches, which can work really well. But yeah, we tried it a lot, how to be minimalist in a way.
Yeah.
I think yeah, this is our way of.
Yeah, that's what we like. Yeah.
That's the way we like to do it. So yeah.
We well, this particular track is been mastered by a mastering engineer in a proper studio, and it's mastered for vinyl.
Yeah.
I used to master our own digital tracks, but he's doing a way better job than me. But for playing out in clubs, we always make like a simple master for our own.
Yeah.
And usually it's starting with a Pro C from Fouk filter.
It's a compressor.
Yeah, I made this. Well, I think I call it an SSL preset. I don't know why, but it's like shaving off the lows in the side chain, so it doesn't listen to the whole frequency spectrum, just the top frequencies. That way, it doesn't pump as much. So it glues the track a bit. Just, I think it's only like 2 dBs of gain reduction. Oh, in this case, it's even getting louder if I turn it off. And then, in this case, I added a CQ. It's also from Time Toys, just to give it a bit of high end. Just a bit of sparkle.
Yeah. Opens it up a little bit.
And then I tend to use this Alpha Master compressor, and it's just been used for the soft clipping. I really like the soft clipping of this plugin. Yeah. And so it rounds off the tops a bit. And that in combination with our beloved Pro L, you get the full sound. So it's not doing much, it's just shaving off the top peaks. And then doing like maybe 2 or 3 dBs of gain reduction.
Yeah, it's starting to struggle now a little bit, the CPU.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just not a lot of limiting. We have our own, kind of like a preset. We have a certain workflow, so we tend to use the same settings on the master bus. So we know how it will react a little bit. So it's easy to just slap that on, and you can almost immediately have the sound that we wanted to sound.
Yeah, sometimes I use this VUMT. It's also from Klanghelm. It's just a simple. It's like an emulation of ballistic. VU metering, and you can set it the way that it's peaking at like 0 dB when I play it. And I set it to a certain reference, in this case like minus 10 dB, and then I know, well, this is kind of loud enough. It's not squashed, it still has dynamics and it's loud. And, but if we send it off to the mastering engineer, I just turn it all off, and then usually I use this
we use
free Synoxis trim plugin, and I can really have a detailed look at what's how it's peaking and what the RMS is. And
usually, you have this rule of like you deliver a -6 dB or -3.
I think I always do like -4, which is okay.
Sometimes it's better to just not put too much on the mastering chain when you're starting out building a track, because it kind of warps your feeling of how the individual mix is, or how the mix is before the whole mastering bit. But we usually put on a simple, like just a compressor
and this one,
the Saturn. It's like it has this magic mastering preset. We kind of opens up, it kind of pushes it a little bit. But as I said, it's all it depends on your workflow. We know
we're used to it.
We're used to it. We know how to mix the tracks a little bit, but usually less is more. It will be less difficult for your CPU if you put a lot of on top while you're creating things in the creative process. You don't want the technical side to crap out and just mess up your process. So
yeah, but it's nice to have just like an idea how your track will sound. With the processing on top of it, and if you're used to it, then it's okay.
And you can always A/B like.
So with the Saturn, you can definitely hear a difference. If it's a bit more crushed, a bit more highs, and then you can also put this one on top of it.
So it's just.
No.
Yeah, it's.
That's too much for my CPU. Sometimes, well. But usually I turn off the Saturn when I'm mixing and
really distorts the way you.
Yeah, leave it to the mastering and you have to make it sound really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for watching. That was our track mating call. You can still get it on vinyl and digital, of course. It's on our Bandcamp as well.
It's on Bandcamp, on the regular record dealers, record shops still, I think, like Juno, DJ.de in Germany, and yeah, you can find us on SoundCloud, of course, or on Facebook, and all the regular social media outlets. And yeah, it's been loads of fun, and so thank you for watching.